Today we are actually going to finish our first chapter in this new unit. So that means we're going to take our assessment today. And before all assessments, we usually do a quick little review. So we're going to continue to do that as well. I want us to remember that we are going to eventually send the superintendent some information. And so when you take your assessment today in your CER, you are actually helping the superintendent answer the big question. So when we think about the big question, we're thinking about how animals communicate across a distance. And when we talk about the distance, we're talking about that body of water. So we've already learned that many animals communicate using sound waves. We've also learned that a wave is a pattern of motion that travels away from a source. We want to remember that the energy or the motion, it actually travels away from the source, which means it is going to the listener. And we'll review that again later on in the slide today. We also learned that sound energy travels as a wave, and the thing it travels through moves only a little. And so we learned that yesterday. And so everything that we've been learning last week and this week will help us be successful on our assessment today. Here's our email from Ms. Martinez, the superintendent of the sanctuary. She is saying, "Dear students, I am looking forward to reading what you have discovered about how mother dolphins and their calves communicate across distances to find one another. Before you send me your response, you may want to return to the reference book, Patterns in Communication. It may help your research." And we're going to do exactly that. So thank you to Ms. Martinez. She's definitely looking forward to hearing your responses. I'm going to put them all together and make sure I send them to her. Before we get into the text patterns in communication and do a little more research before we take our assessment, I want us to go ahead and review the waves diagrams. We have two of them. So here we have the wave, we have the source, and we have the energy. So it shows us the energy is going straight through the wave. It also shows us the source. And so when I think about the source, I want us to think about the mother dolphin, and I want us to think about the calf. If the mother dolphin is trying to find her calf while she's looking for food and has finished looking for food and she wants to find them, would she actually be the source or would she be the listener? And so we remember our source means where something comes from. So if the mother dolphin, again, is making dolphin calls and she's trying to find her calf, I want us to think, would she be the source or would she be the listener? I want you to take 10 seconds to think about that. So the source of that call will actually be the mother dolphin, because the mother dolphin is looking for her calves and she is actually making a call for them. So again, if the sound is coming from the mother dolphin is actually going to be the source. She will make that call and that sound energy will go through the waves towards the listener. So now on this diagram, we have the source and we have the listener. We know, and we just figured out, that the source is actually the mother dolphin sending sound waves, right? That sound energy to the listener. And who's the listener? The listener is actually her calves, right? They are looking for their mother dolphin. And with that call from the mother dolphin, they're actually able to hear her. How are they able to hear her? They're able to hear her with the sound waves that are going through the ocean. That energy is being sent through the water from the mother dolphin, which is the source, to her calves, which are the listeners. Now that we've done that quick review, I want us to go ahead and get into the text. We're not going to read the text, obviously, because this is just a review. I want us to focus on the bottlenose dolphin communication. So we are looking in patterns in communication again, the text. But I want us to focus on bottlenose dolphin communication because that's going to give us some key information. So I have my text open right here. It's already on page 14 because when I look at the table of contents, it's telling me page 14. This is our text, but before we get into the text, I want us to go over the classwork because pausing for the classwork is going to help you with your assessment. So here's our classwork. The text is right here. Your book is there as usual in your heading. You have the objective. Today we're going to explain how animals communicate because we've been doing so much learning last week and this week, and now we're able to answer that big question. These are the vocabulary words that you had. If you want those definitions, just go back to the previous work. But this is the question that you're going to be asked on your assessment. And as we go through the text, I wanted you to pause the video as you hear 3 pieces of evidence that could prove your claim or your answer to this question. So here's the question. How is the mother able to communicate with her calf across a distance when they are separated? Again, you're going to write 3 pieces of evidence as we read through the text about the bottlenose dolphins. Your evidence is going to be related to this question. So in your head, you're already coming up with an answer, right? How is the mother able to communicate with her calf across the distance when they are separated? This evidence that you're going to write, evidence 1, evidence 2, and evidence 3, you will be able to use it later in your CER on your assessment. So make sure you're not just jotting down 3 of the first things or 3 of the first sentences that you see. Make sure you're literally finding evidence as we read that's going to help you answer this question, because you will not be successful in your CER if your evidence does not prove your claim. I'm going to go over the question one more time so when we start the text, you know exactly what you're looking for. How is the mother able to communicate with her calf across a distance when they are separated? In your head, I want you to start getting your claim, start getting that answer, right? And when we think about our big question and what we've learned, we should already have an answer. The big question was how animals communicate across a distance. Is very much like the mother dolphin and her calf, right? We know that waves travel away from a source. We know that sound energy travels as a wave, which means sound energy can travel and move through water. Let's go ahead and get into our text. As you need to, you want to make sure you pause the instructional video so that you can jot down your first piece of evidence that's going to prove what you think is to be correct and how the mother is able to communicate with her calf. All right. Bottlenose dolphin communication. Bottlenose dolphins are found in the ocean all over the world and are one of 30 species of dolphins. Dolphins are a type of whale, part of a group called toothed whales. When bottlenose dolphins are very close together, they can communicate by touch and by body language, but sounds are much more important for their communication. That sounds like that could be some key information, and that sounds like that could very much prove an answer. Bottlenose dolphins make very high-pitched squeaks and whistles. They also make clicking sounds, buzzes, quacks, pops, and yelps. Some of their whistles sound like crickets chirping at night. They can whistle and click at the same time. To make sounds, bottlenose dolphins move air around in their heads and sometimes out their blowholes. Unlike humans, dolphins do not have vocal cords, but they have 2 sets of structures that vibrate in their nasal passages so that they can make different sounds at the same time. So when I think about the how they make sounds, there may also be some key information you want to think about when you are trying to prove your answer in your assessment. Bottlenose dolphins use sounds to communicate with their social group within their social groups. I'm pausing and I'm thinking, this very much sounds like part of the answer to that claim, right? This could be my answer. This could be my evidence when I think about the question in that classwork and when I think about the question that's going to be on the assessment. Mothers and their calves use whistles to find each other when they are separated. Keyword, they're separated. I'm hearing mothers. I'm hearing calves. They're telling me exactly in this sentence what the mothers are doing when they get separated from their calves. There are, again, at least 3 pieces of evidence on page 14 talking about bottlenose dolphin communication. You should have written 3 pieces of evidence. Those 3 pieces of evidence are going to help you in your CER when we get to it. Now I want us to go ahead and go through the assessment so you can see what it looks like and how to complete it successfully. So your assessment is going to very much look like your class assignments. You have your book here, so if you want to make sure you're spelling things correctly, make sure if you missed something in the instructional video of me reading, you have the ability to reread it yourself, which I suggest doing so that you can make sure you walk out with 100% on this assessment, because I believe you can do it. You also have your sort of word bank here. You have the vocabulary words that we use. You can feel free to use those words inside of your CER. So here's part A, and again, it looks similar to the assessment if you had it in person, right? You still have your checklist. You still need to make sure you have your claim, your evidence, the reasoning, and make sure you are using your scientific vocabulary words correctly. And here you have another word bank. Inside of this box, you're going to answer and respond to part A. How was the mother able to communicate with her calf across a distance when they are separated? Same question from your classwork. You are going to make a claim and support it with evidence from the unit to describe how this is possible. Be sure to explain how your evidence supports your claim. That's your reasoning. Now, because you are at home, because you are in your bedroom, in the kitchen, wherever you're taking this assessment, do not forget your sentence starters. When we make our claim, we simply restate the question. This is our question. Oh, that's not our question. Sorry, y'all. This is our, it's doing it again. Okay, it don't want me to show you the question. This is the question. When we make our claim, don't forget you want to restate the question with your answer. So you are going to restate this by giving me a sentence starter and also include your answer in that sentence for that to be your claim. Then you're going to give me those 3 pieces of evidence. The 3 pieces of evidence, don't forget, you already did the work. You have your evidence here. So if you really read it and you really listened to the instructional video and you paused and you wrote down evidence that made sense and that connected to your claim, you good to go. You're going to copy the evidence that you wrote here. Make sure you put it in paragraph form right after your claim. After you do your claim and your evidence, you cannot forget your reasoning. Your reasoning sentence starters, don't forget. This means blah, blah, blah. This proves blah, blah, blah. This shows blah, blah, blah. Don't forget those sentence starters. When we think about our evidence, you got to think about where we got the evidence from, and we got our evidence from the text. We got our evidence from the instructional videos. So you can say that for your evidence sentence starters. According to the text, it says. According to the instructional video, it said, or Miss Adams said, right? So make sure you have those sentence starters. After you type in your paragraph with your CER here, you're going to scroll down because you have a part B. If you do not scroll down and if you do not answer part B, Pepper is trying to help and give you guys answers. I don't know if you hear her barking or not. If you do not answer part B, you will automatically miss this 1 point that's available to you. If you miss this 1 point, there is no opportunity to get 100, and there is no resubmitting the assessment. You get 1 try for the assessment. I will not return it if it is incomplete. Once you click turn in, and this is part of us, this is sort of a learning, excuse me, this is sort of learning for you guys. If you click the turn in button for this assessment and you have not actually finished it, it will get graded as it is. You need to make sure you are completing part A. Part B, you're going to complete part B by writing in your answer choice, A, B, or C, or D. You're going to type in that letter right here. Once you know that you have part A and part B done, go ahead and then you click the turn in button. Again, I will not resubmit any of the assessments to you once I have gotten them. So once you click that turn in button, you will not get it back until it is graded. I'm feeling confident. I'm confident that you guys are going to do well. You're going to get the full 5 points. But make sure you're not giving any lazy work. Make sure you're putting 100% effort into this because I want your first online assessment to be successful for you. If you have a question about getting to the assessment, call me, text me, let me know. The little dolphins right here are saying thank you to the humans. And they look so happy. Good luck on the test, y'all.